this time, we have words from our president. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing with us this Kol Nidre evening.
Shana Tova. Good Yontif. Welcome to Adath Israel. Whether you are a fifth-generation member of Adath Israel or a first-generation member, whether you are a guest or a new member, welcome to our congregation. We are happy to see you. I want to acknowledge those congregants who have grown children who live elsewhere, but hold on to the dream that your kids will come back home for the high holidays. I see you because I am you. Every year, Scott and I end up sitting alone in our row, but this year, a miracle has happened. Our children have come back. Freddie and his wife Jessie, Sarah and her partner Ian, and Adam are all here, and we are loving it. Each one of my kids, individually, I might add, asked me if they were going to be mentioned in this appeal. And none of them were upset when I answered, "Of course." This has been a great year for Adath Israel, and I have so much gratitude for the people of this congregation, our Kehila Kadosha, all of you who are Adath Israel. To our new members, those of you who are new to Judaism, and those of you who are exploring and learning, thank you. Thank you for coming, for participating, and being a part of our Kehila. To our philanthropic members, our Shomrim and Bonim, who year after year support the synagogue at the top levels of dues commitments, and often even above that, thank you. Your generosity is so very greatly appreciated and never taken for granted. To our young families, thank you for choosing Adath Israel as the community where you want to create lasting memories and engage in Jewish life. I know from reading the Kol Kehila and the weekly news and schmooze that we have more programs and opportunities for parents and kids to engage Jewishly. From Mazel Tots to Tot Shabbats, religious school, USY, and B'nai Mitzvah Prep, there are countless opportunities to make Adath Israel a part of your life. To our sustaining members and pillars, you are the bread and butter of our community, although maybe I shouldn't be mentioning food just now. Thank you for consistently paying your dues on time. Dues make up 50% of our budget, and this year, nearly 100% of our dues-paying members paid their dues in full before the end of the fiscal year. Thank you for that, and thank you for your continued commitment to Adath Israel. And to the legacy donors who have created a Jewish legacy by their commitment to CYJL, Create Your Jewish Legacy, thank you. But really, the future of our synagogue thanks you in advance. On behalf of our children and grandchildren who don't know what you have done for them, thank you. Legacy commitments made today will keep us strong in the future. What is your relationship to the synagogue? That is the question or the theme that leadership of Adath Israel have been asking since at least 2015, when our vision, Imagine Adath, was born. Survey after survey of not just Jews, but of all denominations of organized religions in the United States show that participation in religious activity and membership in religious organizations is declining. This decline reaches across all generations. According to the Pew Research Group, the fastest growing segment of religious observance, at nearly 30% of the US population, is the group known as the nuns, and that is N-O-N-E. Those who don't belong to or identify with any religious belief at all. And yet, here we are in synagogue. For some, being here in the main sanctuary or in the chapel in a traditional physical sense is important to the practice of Judaism. Coming to shul to pray with a minyan or online in our daily Zoom minyan is their connection to both Judaism and Adath Israel. We want to be here for mourners saying Kaddish, or to celebrate with kids we have watched grow up from mazel tovs to bar or bat mitzvah. And for others, this may be the only time we see you in shul until next year. And that is fine too. Everyone has their own reasons for coming to synagogue. Our rabbis didn't require synagogue attendance. We are not required to perform every ritual within the walls of the synagogue. Yet, there is a specialness to being in shul on the high holidays. And we know that it is special, so we make it even more special with our Adath Israel traditions. We change the Torah covers and the Ark curtain to special white covers that we only use during the high holidays. We engage a choir and a cantor. We chant prayers with unique melodies reserved only for the high holidays. The sanctuary even has a distinctive and familiar smell that I associate with the high holidays. A little bit musty, but familiar, and probably from all of the additional talisim that come out of storage. But whatever it is one of the things that make it special to be in the synagogue. Last year, I spoke to you about connecting to each other as a Kehila Kadosha. Coming to synagogue on the high holidays is wonderful. In fact, it's the reason the rabbis chose these days for the high holiday appeal. Well, maybe not the rabbis, but this is a time-honored tradition, and synagogue leadership tries to be practical and capture the largest possible audience to ask for donations. Last Kol Nidre, I also talked about the transactional way membership in a synagogue is looked upon these days. And realistically, when do we most often think about our synagogue? Most of us are not here on a daily basis, going to daily minyan or to Shabbat services. We think about the synagogue when we need the synagogue. Weddings, baby namings, religious school, b'nai mitzvot. We want someone to say a mishaberach when we are sick and officiate at the funerals of our loved ones. All of the interactions that make a life. All of the milestones that make up a lifetime. I mentioned a few minutes ago that our kids are here tonight. Talk about transactions. This synagogue has touched every aspect of their lives, and even though they no longer live in Cincinnati, they are as welcome here now as they ever were. Their connection to Adath Israel didn't end at their bar or bat mitzvah, and I am confident that they know things about the synagogue that I don't know, and I am the president. For example, I have no idea what is so special behind the curtain on that stage in the back. But kids here at Adath Israel seem to find it irresistible. There are people and families here that I only know because of my children. Adath Israel has been a part of so many transactions, interactions, connections in our lived lives that I tend to think of our connection to this synagogue as having tentacles like an insect or legs like an octopus. There's no one thing that defines it. Well, I take that back. There is one thing. Memories. Adath Israel has touched so much of our lives that our collective family memories either include or revolve around our time here at Adath Israel. How are we making it easier for you to find and nurture your own connections to and make your memories here at Adath? In other words, what comes between the milestone life events? We are really hitting for the bleachers this year at Adath. And to paraphrase the words of Taylor Swift, we are doing good and we're trying some new things, saying yes instead of no. You are coming forward with ideas, and we are doing our best to bring them to life. Have you noticed our new water bottle filling stations? We have a committee here called the Green Team. The Green Team is a collection of Adath Israel members who care about the environment and Tikkun Olam. They made a recommendation to the Board of Trustees that the synagogue reduce its use of single-use plastics. The Board of Trustees ended up passing a resolution to reduce their use wherever feasible. One of the things we were doing, was ordering cases of water bottles every month. The Green Team noticed this, and also that we were an organization that had not updated its drinking fountains in many, many years. The issue was brought to the building committee, where the idea of adding water bottle filling stations was given a full-throated approval. Part of saying yes instead of no requires thinking creatively, especially when it comes to building improvements. The religious school has recently completed the addition of both low-sensory and extrasensory playrooms and indoor play equipment paid for by a grant from the Jewish Federation. We have invested $40,000 so far in improving our ability to be a more inclusive school. This includes not only the purchase of new equipment, but training for all of the educational staff as well. Soon we will have a gender-neutral family restroom in the lobby near the other restrooms and a nursing mother's room. Our goal is that both of these new upgraded facilities will be operational before the next high holidays. We are able to make these improvements because we applied for and received a grant from the Federation. So when you ask, how does the Federation help the Adath community? These are just two of the many ways. You told us you wanted more programming and opportunities to be together in person, so we have done our best to accommodate. Knowing that most of you don't live in Amberley Village, we are offering programs outside the walls of the building. From candle making in OTR, Shabbat in the park, game nights at FC Cincinnati and the Cincinnati Reds, and a Kentucky bourbon tour, Adath Israel has spread its wings into the Cincinnati community. Our young professionals have hosted both social and spiritual events in Rookwood, Mason, Topgolf, the Little Miami River, and local breweries. Brotherhood continues to sponsor the Purim Palooza, as well as Sunday night football with Adath Israel members. And because you asked, Adath Israel has not just one, but two book clubs now. The Sisterhood Book Club is as robust as ever, meets monthly, and publishes their list of books a year in advance. There is also a Zoom-only book club that was requested by members who began meeting during the pandemic over Zoom and realized that it worked better for them both in time and convenience. Members asked for more service options, and we are trying to make that happen. A few weeks ago, we held our very first Blue Jean Shabbat. It started at 10:30 instead of 9 a.m., and the 1-hour Shabbat service included music, lots of transliterated prayers projected on a screen in large print, which is perfect if you occasionally forget your reading glasses, Torah teachings by Rabbi Smolkin, and the opportunity for discussion. The service ended in time to join the rest of the congregation who had attended the traditional service in the main sanctuary for Kiddush. Our next Blue Jean Shabbat will be in October, and it was so well received that we plan on holding one each month. It's easy for me to stand up here and cavil about all of the wonderful things that Adath Israel is doing and all of the new things we are trying. The hard part is telling you how it all gets paid for. At Adath Israel and at just about every conservative synagogue across the country, congregants will listen to a high holiday appeal at some point during the holidays. Some synagogues will have it on Rosh Hashanah, some on Kol Nidre, but it will happen. Last year, we budgeted $65,000 for the appeal, and I'm happy to say we met budget. Thank you. The aim of our dues structure is to make membership at Adath Israel available to everyone, regardless of need. However, that means we rely on things like the High Holiday Appeal, fundraising, tuition, and grants to meet the needs of the synagogue. To continue to make needed improvements to the building and the school, and to bring you services and programming. And you know what's wonderful? You get it, you understand it, and you support it. This year, I asked that we make a small change to the yellow pledge card. You will notice that in addition to the usual tabs, there is a new tab. It's a Chai tab, a tab to signify the life that happens between the milestones. We want to share your lives in the in-between times. Life would be exhausting if every day it was a big event. At Adath Israel, we want to be part of the everyday times, AKA life. So I created a little gimmick, that extra Chai tab. It's not much, but if each one of you folds down the Chai tab and adds $18 to the amount you were going to give, we can raise an additional $10,000. Yeah, my ask this year is that you go ahead and make your pledge, but in addition, please fold down the Chai tab and add $18 to whatever else you pledge. May we all be inscribed in the book of life. Gemar Chatima Tova. Thank you.